Mike Vrabel may have just confirmed the one thing people across the NFL have been suspecting for weeks about Dianna Russini's kids. After reports claimed Russini's husband demanded a DNA test for their newborn child, old details about secret trips between her and Vrabel suddenly resurfaced online. And now people think Vrabel finally slipped up and confirmed everything. Let me walk you through it. On May 6, 2026, TMZ Sports dropped what might be the most explosive chapter yet. In the Mike Vrabel-Dianna Russini saga, TMZ Sports reported that the two rented a private boat together in Putnam County, Tennessee, back in June 2021, with a source saying the then Tennessee Titans head coach and the journalist were the only people on board for their 2 to 3 hour rental. That alone would have been a footnote in an already sprawling scandal, but the timing turned it into something else entirely. Russini was pregnant at the time with her first child. Vrabel and Russini went on the boat trip in June 2021, and Russini gave birth to Michael in August of 2021. She was 2 months away from giving birth when she and Vrabel were alone on a lake in Tennessee, his home state, his coaching territory. Documents obtained by TMZ Sports show both signed the company waiver before heading out on the lake, and their source says there was no visible PDA before they departed. They were also told Vrabel and Russini appeared cautious about photos being taken, and while she declined to pose at all with the staff, Vrabel agreed to snap one pic, but asked that no images be publicly posted. No PDA in public, no photos wanted, just two people alone on a boat for hours, and the woman was carrying a child. Now here is where the internet went from suspicious to outright fixated. Dianna Russini said that she was looking at her 4-day-old newborn son, Michael, and thinking about the NFL's best Michaels to ever play and coach. That was a tweet she posted back in August 2021, shortly after giving birth. At the time, nobody thought twice about it. A mother staring at her baby, making a light NFL joke about the name Michael. Harmless, except Vrabel's full name is Michael George Vrabel, and photos had already placed him kissing Russini at a New York City bar in March 2020, roughly 11 months before that baby was born. The tweet resurfaced in April 2026 after Page 6 released 2020 photos showing her and Mike Vrabel kissing at a New York City bar, and her 2021 post, written a year after the alleged 2020 encounter with the Patriots coach, led social media users to speculate on the timing of the affair and the paternity of her child. People did the math, and they did not like what they found. She kissed Vrabel in 2020, popped out Michael in 2021, and then tweeted about best Michaels in the NFL, diabolical. One user wrote on X, her husband better get that paternity test ASAP if he hasn't already. This is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen, another user added. Then came the demand that shook social media to its core. Reports emerged that Dianna Russini's husband, Kevin Goldschmidt, had demanded a DNA test for his kids Michael and Joey. The story came from the Football Crave account on X. It spread like wildfire. Former NFL running back Le'Veon Bell reposted it, commenting that the situation had just gotten interesting. But there's an important caveat that we'll get to later in this story. For now, though, the question was out there. And it was the question that everybody had been whispering about for weeks. Are Dianna Russini's children biologically Mike Vrabel's? Let's rewind and trace how this entire scandal started. To understand how anyone ended up questioning the paternity of Dianna Russini's kids, you have to go back to where this entire firestorm began. Page 6 published photographs on April 7, 2026, of Russini and Vrabel at the boutique Ambiente Resort in Sedona, Arizona. In the shots taken on March 28, 2026, the duo lounged poolside and took a hot tub dip after having breakfast together on a private rooftop of one of the hotel's bungalows. And an eyewitness told Page 6 they briefly danced. The images were damning in their intimacy. The photos depict Vrabel, 50, and Russini, 43, both married to other people, hugging and holding hands on the rooftop of a bungalow, lounging poolside, and sitting together in a hot tub. These were not handshake distance interactions between a reporter and a source. These looked like a couple on a romantic getaway, and the setting itself only deepened that impression. The Ambiente literally has a banner going across the middle of its website that keeps a running tally of how many anniversaries, proposals, honeymoons, and baby moons it has hosted. This was an adults-only resort marketed exclusively for romantic occasions. Not the kind of place where a football coach casually drops by to catch up with a journalist. Yet that is precisely the story both sides pushed. Vrabel said in a statement to Page 6, "These photos show a completely innocent interaction, and any suggestion otherwise is laughable. This doesn't deserve any further response." Russini also issued a statement saying the photos don't represent the group of 6 people who were hanging out during the day. 6 people, that was the claim. A group gathering at an adults-only resort where eyewitnesses saw only 2. Other witnesses told Page 6 that they did not see Vrabel or Russini with other people. No, he was with a girl. One witness said when asked if they saw Vrabel with a group of friends. Even The Athletic, the outlet that employed Russini at the time, initially stood behind her. Athletic executive editor Steven Ginsberg in a statement said that the photos were misleading and lack essential context, adding that these were public interactions in front of many people. But the cracks in the narrative were already forming. One insider claimed that Russini and Vrabel attempted to go incognito while walking around the luxury hotel throughout the day, and then they would follow a few steps ahead. The source alleged, claiming the two really didn't want to be seen walking together. Innocent friends don't stagger their walks to avoid being photographed in the same frame. Innocent friends don't hold hands at sunset on a private rooftop. The laughable defense was already looking fragile, and it was about to shatter completely. Vrabel had attended a scouting event at Arizona State University on March 27th, before arriving at the Ambiente the following day. Both were later present at the annual NFL League meetings, held March 29 to 31 in Phoenix. The proximity to a legitimate work event gave both parties the thinnest veneer of plausible deniability, a veneer that was about to be peeled away layer by layer, as more evidence from the past began flooding into the public consciousness. 1 week after the original Page 6 photos detonated, Russini made her move. On April 14th, Russini posted her resignation letter to Ginsberg from her job at The Athletic on her X account, which she has since deleted. She maintained that her journalism was beyond reproach. I have covered the NFL with professionalism and dedication throughout my career, and I stand behind every story I have ever published, she wrote. But her position at the outlet had become untenable. The Athletic initially publicly defended Russini, but later faced internal employee outrage, and as part of their own investigation, sought more evidence to substantiate her claims, which Russini never provided. Her resignation landed like a thunderclap. A reporter with nearly a decade at ESPN, followed by a marquee role at one of the most respected sports newsrooms in the country, had walked away from her career over photographs at a hotel. If this was truly innocent, why was she the one paying with her livelihood? The Sedona photos were bad. What came next was catastrophic. Page 6 obtained photos showing Vrabel and Russini kissing at a New York City bar. 6 years before their current scandal, they were kissing and they were all over each other. An eyewitness said of the pair, seen getting close at the Tribeca Tavern in New York City on March 11, 2020. He had a ring on. At the time, Vrabel was already married to his wife of over 20 years, Jennifer Vrabel, while Russini was 6 months away from marrying her now husband, Kevin Goldschmidt. This obliterated the innocent interaction defense. The Sedona photos could theoretically be explained away as 2 colleagues who got too friendly at a resort, but photographs of 2 married people, one wearing his wedding ring, kissing at a bar 6 years earlier, established a pattern. This was not a one-time meeting. This was a relationship with documented encounters, stretching across multiple years in multiple states. The eyewitness added, they were having a glorious time. They were giving each other pecks, a bunch of pecks constantly. There was nobody in there. Nobody knew who they were. I don't even think the bartenders did. Vrabel was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans at the time, and Russini was an NFL reporter for ESPN. The same day those kissing photos dropped, TMZ released images from yet another encounter. Vrabel hit a casino with Russini, and TMZ Sports obtained a pic of the current Patriots head coach and former Athletic insider at the Bo Revich Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi, shortly before midnight on January 31, 2024. They were both married at the time. The casino visit may have been connected to the 2024 Senior Bowl, held in Mobile, Alabama, about an hour's drive away. A witness said they snapped the pic when they recognized Vrabel and assumed the woman by his side was his wife based on their body language. They didn't realize until the recent bombshell news that the lady was actually Russini. March 2020 in New York, January 2024 in Mississippi, June 2021 on a Tennessee lake, March 2026 in Arizona. The timeline was no longer a series of isolated events. It was a 6-year thread connecting a football coach and a journalist across the country. Through multiple job changes, a pregnancy, 2 marriages and 4 children between them. And it was under the crushing weight of this expanding timeline that Vrabel finally changed his tune. The Patriots initially pushed back against the first page 6 photos, with Vrabel calling the report laughable, before the second set of photographs changed his position entirely. On April 21st, Vrabel addressed reporters at a press conference that would become the most talked about moment of the NFL offseason. Vrabel issued the following statement: "I've had some difficult conversations with people I care about. With my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive. We believe in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. We never want our actions to negatively affect the team. We never want to be the cause of a distraction." He didn't name Russini. He didn't confirm or deny the affair directly. But he went from laughable to difficult conversations in 2 weeks. "My previous actions don't meet the standard that I hold myself to," Vrabel said. That sentence was as close to an admission as anyone was going to get without a full confession. The next day, Vrabel announced he would miss the 3rd day of the 2026 NFL Draft to seek counseling. "As I said the other day, I promised my family, this organization, and this team that I was going to give them the best version of me that I can possibly give them. In order to do so, I have committed to seeking counseling starting this weekend," Vrabel said. "This is something that I have given a lot of thought to, and is something I would advise a player to do if I was counseling them. I have always wanted to lead by example, and I believe this is what I have to do to be the best husband, father, and coach that I possibly can be. A Super Bowl coach, stepping away from the draft to go to counseling over a completely innocent interaction." The narrative had collapsed. With the timeline shattered, the internet did what the internet does. It dug deeper, and what it found, or believed it found, dragged Russini's children directly into the spotlight. Online speculation swirled around the paternity of the couple's first son, Michael. Some social media users and commentators pointed to the child's first name, the same as Vrabel's first name, Michael, and an old social media post by Russini shortly after his birth that referenced notable NFL figures named Michael. The now infamous tweet was simple enough. Russini had posted it in August 2021, days after giving birth. Fans questioned if Michael is Vrabel's son after Russini tweeted, "Keep looking at my almost 4-day-old son Michael while trying to figure out who are the best Michaels to ever play and coach in the NFL," in a now deleted tweet. At the time, some people had even linked the name to Mike Zimmer, the then head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Replying to an X post about the unverified claim, Deanna refuted naming her kid after Mike Zimmer. However, she wished she had done that. She wrote, "I didn't name my son after Mike Zimmer, but his quotes lately make me wish he was the reason I went with Michael." That response, breezy, joking, deflective, read very differently in 2026 than it did in 2021. If she didn't name him after Zimmer and was joking about the best Michaels in the NFL while her firstborn bore that name, then who? The internet was more than happy to answer. Michael George Vrabel, the man she had been photographed kissing in a New York City bar 11 months before the child was born. One NFL analyst, Chase Snyder, went on to claim that Mike Vrabel might be the father of both of Deanna Russini's kids. Snyder touched on a deeply personal matter by linking Russini's affair and the possible father of her children. The way he reported the matter, many called it too uncomfortable to bring Deanna's family into the matter. Snyder highlighted the timeline of Russini's reporting on NFL games and the birth of her children. He mentioned that everyone believes Russini's firstborn, Michael, could be the son of Mike Vrabel, and that's how he was named. He further stated that her second son was born on October 10, 2022, and that she covered her last 2 Titans games on January 2, 2022. The implication was clear, even if it was constructed entirely from public schedules and birth dates, rather than any clinical evidence. Then came the report that Russini's husband had demanded DNA testing. The Football Crave account on X posted that Kevin Goldschmidt had demanded a DNA test for his kids Michael and Joey. The post went massively viral, but here's the detail that many people scrolling past headlines missed entirely. The account that posted it is a parody account, as stated in its bio. No credible sources reported that Kevin Goldschmidt had demanded a DNA test for his children. The calls for such tests are baseless online speculation. That didn't stop the story from spreading. It didn't stop people from treating it as gospel. And it didn't stop the paternity narrative from becoming the dominant thread of the entire scandal. Rumors intensified after reports of the alleged long-running nature of Russini and Vrabel's interactions, with unverified calls for DNA testing. Neither Russini nor Goldschmidt has publicly addressed the paternity speculation, which remains unsubstantiated gossip. It is critical to be clear. These calls for a DNA test are baseless internet gossip. There is absolutely no evidence, legal or professional, to support the paternity speculation spreading on social media. The rumor appears to stem entirely from the coincidence that Russini's son is named Michael, a very common name, and that Mike Vrabel's full legal name is Michael George Vrabel. And yet the speculation persists, fueled by the very real photographic evidence of a years-long relationship between Vrabel and Russini that neither party can adequately explain away. So here we are, two families ripped open under a national microscope, a football coach still clinging to his job, a reporter whose career appears to be in ruins, and children whose names are being debated by strangers on the internet. Kevin Goldschmidt has felt sidelined for a long time and is grappling with what insiders describe as deep emasculation. Following the allegations, according to a source close to the couple, the marriage has taken a serious hit, and the Shake Shack executive is dealing with public embarrassment, while still caring about Russini and hoping to repair their relationship if possible. The source indicated the controversy might be what finally pushes things to a breaking point. On Vrabel's side, the damage has been equally devastating in personal terms. His wife, Jen Vrabel, has been described by insiders as embarrassed and heartbroken, though still open to counseling and trying to repair the marriage. Vrabel has been married to Jen since 1999. They have two adult sons, Tyler and Carter. That's 27 years of marriage now under public siege. Professionally, Vrabel's situation is precarious, but not yet terminal. He took a Patriots team that had gone 4-13 in back-to-back seasons, overhauled the roster, won AP Coach of the Year, and delivered a Super Bowl LX appearance in his very first season on the job. That kind of on-field turnaround buys a lot of goodwill. A few Patriots players have come out and extended their support, including the team's star quarterback, Drake May, who said the team is there for Coach and added that they love him. But NFL insider Mike Florio has warned that the situation remains volatile. What if she tells her story to the Today Show or 60 Minutes? What does she say? Is that the tipping point where Mike Vrabel can't coach the Patriots this year? So they better have a plan ready, because we're one news cycle away, potentially, at any given moment, from him not being able to coach the team this year. After details of the boating trip with Russini came out, the odds of Vrabel keeping his job took a sizable drop. His odds of remaining the Patriots head coach for Week 1 on betting market Kalshi went from 77% to 64%. Meanwhile, Russini is weighing whether to break her silence. She is making difficult decisions on talking or not, but she is leaning toward talking. She has to get to a better place. She doesn't want to exploit her family anymore negatively. If it is done, it has to be done right. Career-wise, it's hard to see how she gets back to where she was. There's always going to be that question of trust, and the scandal isn't something people will just forget, a source pointed out. Russini does have at least one job offer from podcast host John Stugotz Wiener, who said, "I did say if The Athletic fired her, I would hire her." As for the NFL itself, it has kept the entire matter at arm's length. This is not a personal conduct policy as we know it today. It's a personal matter, and we'll leave it at that. Commissioner Roger Goodell recently said, "I think the teams handle these matters when they're personal matters." So what about the title of this video? Did Mike Vrabel confirm what everyone suspected about Russini's kids? Not directly, no. Vrabel has never acknowledged the paternity speculation. The DNA test demand that went viral came from a parody account. The calls for a DNA test are baseless internet gossip, and there is absolutely no evidence, legal or professional, to support the paternity speculation. But what Vrabel did confirm, through his admission that his previous actions don't meet the standard he holds himself to, through his counseling announcement, through the ever-expanding photographic timeline, is the existence of a relationship with Russini that stretches back at least to 2020. He confirmed the boat trip happened during a period when Russini was pregnant. He confirmed, without saying the words, that laughable was a lie. And the timeline that his own admissions have validated is exactly the timeline that fuels every single paternity question the internet has asked. Vrabel did not take a DNA test. He did not claim or deny fatherhood of Russini's children. But the facts he has confirmed and the facts he has failed to deny have done exactly what the title says. They've confirmed what everyone already suspected. Not as proof, but as a pattern, one that stretches from a New York City bar to a Tennessee lake to an Arizona rooftop, from 2020 to 2026, and lands squarely in the middle of two families that may never be the same. Where this goes next depends entirely on whether Russini speaks and what she says when she does. And if the last month has taught us anything, it's that the next chapter is always just one photo dump away.